Welcome to Nerds, Geeks, in the Kitchen Sink. It's the show that is like hanging out at the video store
And
when the
utter
video
chaos. And
store
utter
when their
chaos.
internet connection is not working and their credit card machine is down, and you just want to rent
And the
Evil Dead 2.
VCR is eating the tape.
Oh yeah, I said internet. I mean, we're a little
Yeah,
early there.
I know,
Uh,
right?
when they're I don't know. Listen,
The
it's been
DVD is scratched.
it's already been a hell of a night here.
I know, right?
hmm
Uh, and that
So
is, that's vodka, right?
I wish that would maybe help things.
And,
Hi, I'm one of your hosts, DK.
I'm Chris, your other host.
We do a show, and what we do is we talk to you about the modern, the current stuff, nerd stuff. That's what we're
Yeah.
doing. So hi, Chris. How have you been? I feel it's been about
If we
two
can,
weeks.
exclude today,
Yeah, we can.
then not bad.
Okay, about the
So,
last hour at this point has been.
right. Well, it's been about 3 hours for me.
We'll say up front, we're
Yeah.
dealing with some technical issues.
Yes.
So we're going to be using Zoom audio tonight. I apologize if you're used to the higher quality that we normally have. We'll be
Right.
back to that soon.
Yes.
But for now, we're having some issues, some
Mhm.
technical problems that are preventing us from doing that. So please bear with us. It should be okay.
Right.
And if you're watching on YouTube, nothing has changed.
No.
It's the same. So
Uh,
what's been going on? I know we've watched a bunch of movies, played some games.
right.
I think our main feature tonight is going to be Knock at the Cabin, probably. So
Right.
avoiding talking about that, what else have you seen? Anything? Have you played anything? Read anything?
Um, I have downloaded, played, and finished the new Deadpool DLC
Oh, for Midnight Suns.
for Midnight Suns.
Awesome. Awesome.
So,
I heard it was
and
fun.
you would love it.
Yeah, I heard it was really fun.
It has to do with vampires.
Oh, yeah.
So,
All right. That sounds good.
yeah, it was really fun.
I'll eventually get to that game.
Yeah,
I have been so wrapped up in other things, but I will. Yeah, and I was hoping to get it for Christmas and didn't.
right.
So
Well,
and now that the Dead Space remake is threatening me, so it's like, what do I spend the money on?
right.
I've already played through Dead Space about 10 times in the original version. So it's like, how many more times am I going to play it? I don't know. Will they drop the price fairly quickly? They probably will. It's EA, right? So
Right.
it's going to happen.
Well, that's the good thing. If you wanted to, you could do Midnight Suns because I'm sure it'll be
I wonder if there's a
shortly
I wonder if there's a deal where I can
on a
get it
deal.
with the DLC
Yeah,
and pay the same or something. That would be cool. Maybe I'll do that.
and before that way, because you won't have to pay necessarily right off the bat.
Yeah.
The Dead Space 2 new price.
I'm a huge
So
fan. I love Dead
I
Space.
know.
The original Dead Space is so good. I like Dead Space 2 as well. Dead Space 3, I'd like to remake it and make some changes,
Right.
which they could do.
Yep, that's
They
true.
could totally do. Or they could like combine 2 and 3 somehow. I don't know. Like make the co-op of 3 part of 2.
Would you say Dead Space is probably one of the best horror?
I think it's one of the most consistently good and thrilling, scary, it's like survival horror games. Yeah, I think
Right.
it's one of the most. It delivers maybe more than most.
Right.
Have you played the first one?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
It's been
I
a
mean,
while, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's essentially Resident Evil meets Event Horizon. But what I like about it is it is, it's a Western game, so it
Right.
has some slightly more Western sensibilities as far as the puzzling and the action and the controls. You don't have the tank controls of Resident Evil or
Right.
some of those other things. So for me, it's pretty well in the sweet spot of exactly what I want in a survival horror game. Plus, I love Event Horizon. I love Alien.
Right.
It kind of combines those things. The Thing a little bit.
Yeah.
John Carpenter.
Right.
I'm a fan.
Nice.
I'm a big
Nice.
fan.
We live.
Yep. So, it is in the sweet spot. So if people have not played Dead Space, sure, the original's out there and it's great, but the remake, I've heard nothing but great things. And
Right.
if you want it to look as good as it can look, go for the remake for sure. Recommend it, even though I haven't played it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it can only be an upgrade. Let's be honest.
That's not true. There's been some bad remakes.
Well,
The
As long
Silent
as
Hill
they
remake
didn't
on
mess
Xbox.
with it much,
Mm-hmm. That's
then
true. And
then I'd say
I
that
know they did make some changes, and like they changed the way Isaac looks, which is I'm always on the fence about. In this case, maybe it's not my favorite because in the original, he has like more gray hair and he just looks more like
rough.
he's been through it already, and
Right.
he's just like, oh, more. He looks like a little bit. I always thought he looked like Bowman from Space Odyssey with
Okay.
the Keir Dalia's character with
Yeah.
the gray hair. I thought that was a cool look. The fact that they let him have the gray hair and all that stuff,
Right.
but the new guy is a little younger and seems to have more life in him, which I get that. Like, if you want to torture your main character, give him a little bit more life so you could take it away, I
Yeah,
guess
right.
is the thinking. And that's fine.
You don't want him to start as a shit show right off the bat.
No, maybe by the end, and maybe that's the thing, and I haven't played the new version, but maybe by
Right.
the end he looks terrible. That would be great. I hope that's the case. I've been playing tons of Apex Legends. The season is finishing up.
Yeah.
I've been playing Dune, The Battle for Arrakis for Sega Genesis on my Steam Deck. I love that game, but I cannot beat Mission 4. Any advice if anyone knows?
Yeah.
Boy, it's impossible.
Your guess is as good as mine on that one.
I've watched a bunch of movies lately. I did watch Skinamarink. And I was hoping you had, but I also wasn't going to recommend it to you.
No, I want to see it because I've heard about it.
Yes.
Just from a sheer morbid curiosity.
Yes. Now I'm just going to put it out there. And if you don't want to know anything about Skinamarink, number one, it's going to be tough to spoil. It's not a movie that you can really spoil. It's more of an experience.
Right.
And I really like that about it. So I'm just going to tell you that I was a fan. I did like Skinamarink. It was a strange film that is less like a film and like I said, more like an experience.
Right.
It is so strangely nostalgic and nightmarish. It really taps into something, for me anyway,
that
is like almost hard to quantify. Just for example, in most of the film, you're not even seeing the characters. You're seeing the ceiling. You're seeing the floor. If a character is in the shot, it's usually their feet.
Right. It's almost a first-person aspect. To a degree.
No, not really.
Really?
I wouldn't put it like that. No, I would. It's not like a found footage movie, for sure.
Well, no, and I didn't think that, but I thought maybe
it'd be easy to put it in that category because of the way the movie looks, like visually, the pixely, grainy nighttime film.
Right.
But I don't. I would hesitate to say that it's like from a first person.
Okay.
And maybe I missed something, and it is supposed to be like that, but it's very interpretable.
Well, I heard, honestly, the best way to see this would have been in the theater.
No,
it's a little more isolated.
No. See it at home.
Yeah.
Possibly by yourself with all the lights off late at night. I had a drink or two while I was watching it.
Okay.
And I was quite tired. And I don't think I really fell asleep, but I know I kind of went into like a,
zone.
I went into the zone for a little while.
Yeah.
And it honestly helped the movie. It was a real experience, Chris. It really got to me.
That's another thing that I actually heard, that like,
for some people,
go to sleep to this movie, and then if you wake up with it still going on,
that's what happened to me pretty much. Yeah. So it was terrifying. It is like, it's so hard to explain what the movie is, and even if you're a horror fan, it really depends on what type of horror you want to see.
Right.
That excites you. I can't even recommend this to most horror fans. I just want to be very upfront. Like, this won't be for everyone. It just won't.
Right.
I mean, and I will admit, like, after the first 20 minutes, you're like, so what are we doing?
Right.
It's easy to get distracted or almost like fed up with the pacing a little bit, because it's like slow moving or not moving, and it's just like a child gets out of bed, a door opens, a light turns off, you see a night light,
Right.
you see feet walk across the floor, you hear a TV come on, you see the glow of a light in the other room, you hear a door open, and you hear a little voice go, "Dad." That's like most of the dialogue is, "Dad." it it is so strange, but so unsettling. At least it was for me, and
Right.
I'm raving about it. I think there is just nothing quite like it. There's some very Lynchian aspects of it, though. I don't want to say like, oh, it's like a David Lynch movie. I think a David Lynch movie would have more of a traditional narrative.
More of a plot kind of
It would
storyline
have a
to it.
plot.
Yeah.
A Lynch movie would have more of a traditional narrative, and then it would have some of the strange things that you see in Skinamarink.
Right.
Skinamarink is more like, let's build up a vibe for 30 minutes, give you one very strange and unsettling moment, and then the last maybe 20 minutes, it just ramps up to, I don't know what. But I really struggle. I want to watch it again, but I'm also like, I don't know if I could go through that right
Then
now.
again.
Like, not for a while. I would give it a very high score.
From all the clips that I've seen of it, it just kind of looks like if you watched a full length version of the videotape from The Ring.
In some ways, there is slightly more of a narrative to it than that.
Right.
But you do see things like, yeah, the doll on the ceiling and the eyes.
Just some random.
Have you seen the shot of the eyes on the phone toy?
Yeah.
I was on the couch and I was like, no. I don't like it. I don't want to see it. There's another shot of like a woman's face that's just like barely. It's really tough. It pressed the right buttons for me. So I'll stop raving about it. And
no, I mean,
I want to see more things like this. I want to see what this director can do. If he can tap into that, something along those lines again.
Right.
And there's a weird credit at the beginning that I need to look into. It's not weird, but it was interesting that the film was dedicated to what seemed to me to maybe be a childhood friend of the director's who had passed away. And basically it said like, in some ways it seems like maybe this movie is based on some experience that the director had with that person. And I'm just projecting that. I don't know.
Right.
But it just makes me wonder, like, what did they go through? It's just, man. But I'm classically bad at reading like what movies are about. Sometimes I'll just swing and miss. But this one does seem to be about like not less of a story or moral point, and more of a
experience.
Hey, remember what it was like when it was 3 a.m. and your parents were asleep and you were wide awake and you were wandering around the house and you shouldn't have been. It's like that. Your mind plays tricks on you, and they're strange. Like there's one point when the boys look in the hallway and like the door disappears and the windows disappear.
Yeah.
Like those scenes those moments, like when you're in bed and you're like staring, you can't go to sleep and you're like staring at you're just staring at the door and you're like, did somebody walk past, or is that just
it's like
I should
the
just
door shut. Did I see something walk past and see the feet shadow, or the coat hanging on the chair in the dark corner? Was that something else?
Yeah, it's like that, but even more murky and less defined than that.
Okay.
But it is like, it's essentially that. But then there is like this other thing. I don't want it to sound like there's not. There is this other thing going on, and this is definitely a spoiler, but there is some kind of, I don't want to call it an entity. My read of it was that it's more, and this is coming from nowhere. This is coming from me, I guess. I didn't read this anywhere, is what I'm saying.
Right.
But it seemed like there's this voice that happens and it tells the kids to do things.
Okay.
And it's almost as if it's just that weird feeling you get where it's you get the urge to do something weird or bad.
Right.
And it's unexplainable.
Okay.
I don't know. It's hard to explain that, but like, the urge that people get when they do something bad,
Right.
I don't know what you call it, but it's almost like a force or something. And when you see the movie, you'll understand. But there
It's
is
almost
something
like
else
some
going on.
internal voice that's not necessarily your internal voice.
Yeah, it's this weird, like, that may be exactly it. That might
Right.
be the best way to say it. But because I don't know if it's like, I don't think what the filmmaker wants you to think is like this is a demon house movie.
Right.
I don't think so at all. I think it's just like a weird, way more basic, deep human psychological thing where it's like you're standing at a high point, like you think,
Right.
I could jump off. You know what I mean? It's like, why? But you think it, or
Right.
whatever the thing is, like whatever it is that makes you think bad thoughts.
Right.
And it's made worse by it being 3 a.m. and you can't find your parents, and
Right.
it's an
Now,
experience.
now the one thing I heard somebody kind of like suggest
Hmm.
that it was that the kid, is it one or two?
There are 2 kids.
Okay. That they're actually not alive and don't know it.
Yeah, that's the very
And
basic read. I think
that's kind of,
that's
yeah.
the first thing I thought, because there's a thing at the beginning. There's a phone call that there's some information. I don't want to spoil too much
No, yeah.
because we're giving away a lot here.
Okay.
But it's certainly a possibility. And I don't
Right.
want to say, oh, it's definitely not that. I didn't read it that way. But the beauty of this thing, this weird movie, I think, is that you can interpret it however you want.
I was just saying it's definitely up for
You
interpretation.
really can. Yeah. It's not just one way or the other. I think
Right.
this movie could go 10 different ways or more.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's something. And I do recommend it, just not for everyone. And if you do watch it on my recommendation, just have an open mind. And if you hated it, okay, let me know, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling everyone rush out and see this. It is a slow burn, weird experience.
Well, and
that's
you
it.
even said it's not for everyone, so
Mm-mm. It just worked for me.
right.
And that's all I'll say about it. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just real jazzed about it. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I watched it with my wife, and she's like, yeah, I think I get what it was doing, but it wasn't for her. And I respect that opinion too. And I've seen that plenty online. Like, what is this? I saw there's a meme, and it's just like literally blurry pixels in an image, and it's like, oh, this is everyone's favorite part of Skinamarink, and it's like nothing. And that's a fair thing to say. That's a fair joke to make, I think. So
well,
I won't be mad if people
I'm
hate
a
it.
fan of those that, where it's up to interpretation.
Yeah. This
and
is
it's
an
not
experimental
necessarily
movie, for sure.
the gore and guts horror, but something that, kind of almost on a deeper level, if you want to go there.
Yeah. There are many levels of this to find.
Yeah.
You can certainly watch it with the interpretation that you said, and fully get that if you want.
Well, and I've heard a couple other ones, I mean, which that this is kind of the kids have experienced loss, and this is kind of a mass dream thing between the two of them.
You just reminded me of a scene where there's people sitting on a bed.
Yeah.
God. Okay. Anyway, we'll move along. That movie got me. It was great.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I'm raving about it.
It's on my list. I've got it actually keyed up to see it soon.
You got to be in the right mood. If I had been in the wrong mood, I would probably be sitting here trashing it.
Yeah.
But I was in the right place. Are you watching any? Let's take a crazy turn here.
Okay.
Are you watching any of the Star Wars, the Clone Show?
I have not started that.
Okay. Have you seen any? Did you watch the first season?
Yeah, I saw first season. The Bad Batch.
Yeah, Bad Batch. Thank you. The Clone Show. I started the second season. I think we're caught up now.
Okay.
It's pretty aimless so far.
Really?
No real. It's strange because it's been a lot of fun. In fact, it's been really fun.
Right.
So it's almost like you take away the overarching story, and it's just like, and they're setting things up. They are.
Right.
But there's a lot of one-off episodes where it's like, let's play some Star Wars greatest hits here, and they work. They really work. For a kid Star Wars show, there was one episode that I really liked. It was like a clone siege of this citadel.
Okay.
And it's like clones have to go on like a mission and infiltrate and take over this capital of this city. And it was cool. It was all action. I mean, it was a lot of fun, and the action was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been enjoying that show, and it helps, of course, that I'm watching with Zora and she's
Right.
loving it. But yeah,
No,
I'm
I
glad
haven't
that we've
started the
stuck with
second
it.
season yet, so
Yeah, I'd recommend it. I mean, it is definitely a kid show,
right.
but no, it's recommendable for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first season was pretty good, so
Absolutely. If you know what you're getting into,
right,
it's good.
Right. So, no, I've been watching The Last of Us. I didn't see last night's episode, but I've seen the first 3.
I haven't started it. I have like Walking Dead fear,
right?
Not Fear of the Walking Dead. I also don't want to watch that. It's just one of those things where like those kinds of shows just seem so boring, and I will probably watch. I will try to watch Last of Us.
Right.
I'm just so burned out by the whole zombie drama, apocalypse drama. I know what happens in the game.
Well, yeah.
I also don't. This is heresy, but I don't love the game. I think it's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad game.
No,
it's not my thing.
Right.
I know. Obviously, I mean, it's an amazing game. It's incredible and it's well made, and they deserve all the awards they got.
Right.
It's just
2 didn't.
I know that
did.
I didn't play the second one. I know that it's good, but I also know that it's not really for me. So that's why I just haven't been that interested in the show.
Well, game wise, I'm still salty the fact that it won over Ghost
of Tsushima. Did it beat Tsushima?
Yeah.
I haven't played the single player of that either, but I played the multiplayer for like 100 hours or something.
I know.
I love that multiplayer.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. So the show, talk me through it. I mean, how first of all, I think the big thing to talk about is the casting.
Yes.
How are Joel and Ellie compared to the game version? Are they okay?
I'm fine with Pedro. I like him a lot. The only thing is he seems, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. He seems at the beginning of it, especially in the first 2, a little more whipped. Just by life in general, not any,
Okay.
Because Joel was a badass. I mean, he had heartbreak and disaster in his life, but he didn't take shit from anybody. And he didn't really take orders from anybody. He just put up with other people because he had to.
Yeah.
And it seems like the Tess and Joel dynamic, they played a little bit more into it, more of a relationship, which they didn't. I mean, it was almost an innuendo in the game, but it never really came to any kind of fruition. So, I mean, that was kind of mediocre for me for the show.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of the girl that plays Ellie. I think they've taken her in kind of a different direction.
Okay, so you think the character herself just feels a little different?
Yeah. There's a part which it's been the second episode. I think it was the second episode that when Joel it was second episode where Joel kills the guard. Now in the game, Ellie was like more terrified of that event happening. And she realized how much of a badass and how vicious Joel can get.
Yeah.
In the show, she was almost like smiling. Not really smiling, but like, ooh, yeah, get him.
The thing I remember about the game, was like every time you had to kill someone, it felt bad.
Yeah.
You didn't want to.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have a gun and like smash the guy's head with a brick. Like this, this is brutal and terrible. Like I'm strangling a guy and his eyes are popping out of his head and he's struggling. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, to hear that it's like taken lightly is like a little weird.
Yeah, it was a little odd for me. She's more of this foul mouth, you know, stereotypical cocky kid.
Hmm.
I mean, she's had a couple good, like there was a plane wreckage, and for us to see a plane would be nothing. But like for her, that's never seen one in the
Right.
air.
They've never existed for her.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that was kind of a good play that they kind of
That's cool.
did.
Yeah. That's cool.
The like I said, and then the third episode, which I really liked,
I heard it
but
was great. Yeah,
I
I heard it was
think
really good.
yeah, but I honestly think that if they would have played it more to the game, they kind of changed a little bit of the events of the relationship. If the suicide part was more like the game, I think it would have hit harder.
Hmm.
And I think that was a missed opportunity on that.
Okay.
So,
do you think they'll go at this pace? Do we know how many episodes there are?
8, I think.
8?
6 or 8. I can't remember.
Will this season cover the whole first game?
From everything that I've heard, yes.
Okay.
So, and
which I think is cool.
I mean, which I'm fine with, but honestly, I think there could have been a little more. And my other big thing with this last episode, or not this last one, but the one before, episode 3, in the actual game, you're a little further. And I wish they would have put this episode maybe 1 or 2 episodes later. It just seemed like it was almost like just a filler.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, like I said, I really liked it, but it seemed like it was misplaced in where it was.
Sure.
That, and in all honesty, the first game you could probably stretch out to like 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And it would probably feel more of a, not kind of jumping through things.
This is the reverse.
More of a build up. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay.
And then the only other thing, which I thought was stupid, is their whole thing in the game is, you've got this overreaching government and they're gun runners. In this, his whole big thing is, well, they're trying to get a battery.
A battery?
A car battery.
Okay.
Trying to get a car battery.
All right.
I'm like, really? That's I just
it's a little different.
Yeah.
I wonder what the reasoning was. And maybe we'll find out.
Well, I know what the reasoning was. It's they just don't want to promote anything with firearms.
Oh, okay.
So
I wouldn't even have thought of that.
I mean, honestly, that's.
Well, there's guns in the movie, and there's guns
I know,
in the show.
It makes no sense. It really makes no sense. You would think somebody with that, because it's an oppressive. It's really like an oppressive environment, and you've got these rebels. You would think that would be one of their big things, not so much.
I mean, you need a car battery, sure.
Well,
you need lots of stuff.
I mean, you need lots of stuff, but if you're trying to start a rebel, the fireflies.
Yep, I get it.
I don't think you're going to be just chucking car batteries like you're throwing a rock from Braveheart.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see how it turns out. I may try to start it, but I have a lot of things to get to.
Oh yeah,
we will see. I don't know if I'll get there before next episode, but we'll see.
Well, the next episode is actually going to be early.
Right,
it's going to be Friday because of Super Bowl. So,
right. All right. I know you wanted to talk some DC.
Yeah, we had that big announcement from Gunn.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I'm a bad nerd. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Give me the rundown.
Okay, well, there's going to be a couple different aspects. Things like the Joker and the Batman, the Pat-Bat. Those are going to be what's called Elseworld movies.
Elseworlds, okay.
So, like Teen Titans will not be in associate with the main universe.
Okay.
So Gunn's main objective is to have, and he said it, the animated, the video games, and the movies all, you know, in the same universe, and hopefully have the same actors voicing for at least the next
Okay,
10 years.
You say this, but then it's like, oh, we're also announcing that we have this other separate thing.
Right. It's like the main. I know.
Okay.
It's
we're bringing it all together. We're separating it.
Well, no, the majority, honestly, the majority of the stuff that he announced is all going to be together.
I'm just funning.
I know.
I do trust
Batman 2, Joker 2, Teen Titans are all going to be what's considered Elseworld. And I've also from what I've heard, they're still going through with the Val Zod movie.
What about the Gorilla Elseworld movie? That's what I want to see.
But
wait, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you think that this is only because they already had these franchises set up and they did really well? Or is this a true, like, I guess my real question is, will there be other Elseworlds properties? Or will these be it? And then once these are done, it's over.
No, I think they'll be able to go in because they'll be able to have some other kind of vision or something and be like,
could we get a Gotham by Gaslight movie? For example, it's just an example.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think
it would be an Elseworld.
The way that he's described it, whether it happens or not, I don't know. But I mean, the way he described what those separations are, then I can see it.
Okay.
That's what I would love that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Because there's so much cool DC stuff that would be considered that Elseworlds.
Right.
I do wonder, like a metal universe in the movies would be incredible. But it's also like, how many Batmans are they going to give us? How many? But at the same time, it's like, I wouldn't mind a different Batman every year.
Yeah.
If they just said like, okay, this one's sequel to the Batman, great. This one's Gotham by Gaslight, great. This one's this. This one's that. This one's Court of Owls. That's the main one. That's fine. Right. But will they do that?
Yeah.
Or will they squander it all?
Well, this whole chapter, and he's calling this 8 to 10 year, is a chapter called Gods and Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So
it kind of bums me out because it implies the larger galactic Justice League. I never loved that.
No,
I want to see Batman.
I like the OG
punching thugs. I want to see Superman saving cats from trees. I want to see the ground levels. You know, we've talked about it with Marvel. I want to see those ground level guys. I don't need to see CG wars and Dark Side. I mean, maybe we could build to Dark Side in a Justice League film.
Right.
But I hope at least they can do it in a way that we can give these characters, number one, good development. And number two, like, give them a little time to exist on their own. Well,
I mean, the slate, as he's stated it already, is at least 6 years.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're talking 2029 before we get anything out of, which would bring a huge, end game type of collab yet.
Okay.
He also said that, like Shazam 2, Aquaman, Blue Beetle, The Flash.
Yep.
Those are all going to be out.
And ignored?
But he didn't necessarily say they're still in, but he didn't say they're still out. Or
this is my problem.
I know
what I'm saying.
With
you,
I know. But what he is saying is like the middle timeline. He's working on this middle timeline that's all together.
And I can focus on that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
So,
but
hopefully,
how precious will he be about like Suicide Squad and stuff? Like, are they gonna keep all that stuff? I know, he directed one. Would he be willing to throw that stuff out?
There's no Suicide Squad coming out in his
right, but I'm just saying, like,
plan right now.
If characters, so like, will they recast, for example, Harley Quinn?
Well, technically in the Elseworlds, they are. because it's Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
I'm
mean,
kind of interested to see her
I know
as that character.
it's
To
really
be
kind
honest,
of,
like it kind of intrigues me.
yeah. I mean, she was good in American Horror Story.
I loved her in that. I love that season. The
Yeah,
Hotel was one of my favorite seasons.
yeah.
I'll admit
So
it right here and now.
yeah,
The first episode and that song is playing and they go to the oh man, yeah, that was good. I've seen it a
yeah.
few times.
So okay, let's get into some of the
Yep.
new ones. Okay, well, I'll start with like the lesser ones.
Mm-hmm.
And this is right up James Gunn's alley. Is Booster Gold?
Yeah, that wasn't a surprise.
No, that's not a surprise at all. Um,
I assume
yeah,
there's no information
no,
yet.
no
Okay,
casting,
fine.
no director.
Okay.
Um, then, which I thought was really cool, is, but okay, I want to see this. I really want to see this. They've had 2 iterations of this in different forms. This will make the third one of Swamp Thing.
I saw this tweet. Please give me Swamp Thing.
It will be in the horror realm.
Is it still going to be Derek Mears?
It is actually going to be well, I should say not for sure, but James Mangold is in talks to direct it.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
All right. Fine with that.
So
I would love a Swamp Thing movie. Come
Yeah.
on. I'm a hypocrite because I didn't watch the show and I need to watch the show. But
I would say that season of Swamp Thing was really good.
I need to watch that. I do.
And I mean, you have HBO Max, so it's on there.
I have no excuse.
I know.
I'll watch it. I will watch that one. I'd love to see like Sam Raimi or something get a hold of Swamp Thing.
Right.
Somebody like that would be so fun to do a Swamp Thing. All right, go on.
I mean, but Logan was pretty gritty and pretty, had some gruesome moments in it. Yeah. So,
yep.
A couple ones I'm like on the fence for. Paradise Lost.
Okay.
This is about Themyscira, and the way he made it sound is like pre-Wonder Woman. And
seems not my thing.
It as a Game of Thrones type show. I'm on the fence.
I also don't really like Game of Thrones. So.
Yeah, I mean, I liked season like 2.5 through 7.
It just isn't my thing.
Yeah,
I have a real tough time with any fantasy. I really do. If it's not Lord of the Rings,
right?
I just have a tough time.
Oh no, I get it. I'm on the fence. I'll give it a try, but it may be one of those that I see like 1 or 2 episodes and I'm out. Yeah, because this will be a show.
Yeah. Okay.
The Authority.
Okay.
Which that's been described before. It's kind of almost a Misfits. There's some almost you would call them clone characters of Justice League members.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can see this being like a Guardians of the Galaxy style.
Yeah.
Do we have a director or anything for this?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll wait and see on that.
This is, and I'm betting it's going to be Gunn on this one.
Well, that's why
because as excited as he was to introduce it.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, he likes to get a bunch of freaks together and put them on screen.
Right. Let's see. Creature Commandos, which is already it's an animated. This one's an animated.
Oh, okay. Cowards.
Yeah. He has already written all the episodes and they're in the process of making them right now.
Okay.
And he said that at some point, some of these animated characters will make it into real life and will be played by the same actor.
Cool.
So, I mean, that's kind of keep that together.
That's cool.
What I am kind of excited for is the Green Lantern.
I was when it was Ryan Reynolds.
Well,
and then I was punched in the face.
Well,
and then
this is going to be a show also. but it's Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart.
Okay.
And he said basically it's almost more of a terrestrial, like True Detective type show.
Okay.
So with
that's
some
weird.
Yeah, I mean that one. I mean, just from the premise, I'm kind of interested in, because season one of True Detective was probably
So good. I love that.
one of the best. Yeah,
I also quite like season 3.
Yeah.
And I think season 2 is actually okay.
2 is okay.
I know a lot of people hated it, but I thought it was all right.
1 and 3 though are
3, I liked them. I liked them both.
yeah. But he said that's going to be more in the True Detective vein. So
Weird.
it is, but it has my interest.
All right.
So then we're going to go with Amanda Waller, which at this point it's like, okay, it's not necessarily going to be Suicide Squad.
This is what I'm saying.
Is she gonna be?
Is she gonna be recast?
Like dealing with the Authority? Is she gonna have kind of the baddie of the week?
They're gonna keep her and not Henry Cavill. They're
Yeah.
gonna keep Aquaman and not Henry Cavill. They're gonna keep the Flash and not Henry Cavill.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah. Not. Yeah. Well, the reason, and this is, I'll go to this, is Superman Legacy.
Okay.
And basically, the reasoning that they're giving is the fact that this is going to be, and I'm kind of having an issue with this too, because, and I'll kind of do these together. They're doing Batman Brave and the Bold, which is Bruce and Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
So
is this a movie or a show?
Movie.
Okay. That will make a lot of people happy.
But you're doing an older Batman.
Yeah.
But then you're doing a younger Superman. So
what is DC doing?
I think this is like the beginnings of Superman. I think they're just taking them in. He said it's not an origin story, but it's Clark like navigating between his, growing up in Kansas and his Kryptonian heritage.
We've seen this.
I'm just going with the description.
Okay.
So maybe there's a plan that we jump to and get to the point of.
Well, there must be, because why would they do that?
Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
And then with Brave and the Bold, we're going to get a lot more of the Bat family.
I know that's.
What that tells me is we're getting on-screen Nightwing.
That's a lot of people have been wanting that for a long time.
Yeah. So.
Shout outs to Ramimi in the Discord. I know she'll be very happy about that.
But and then after that, the only thing left is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Okay.
Which is basically Kara growing up on that little piece of Krypton left. It was like one of the more recent comics.
Yeah, I didn't read that one.
I didn't either. I have two big concerns, because James talked about having King as the inspiration for Brave and the Bold, and we don't have to get into how much I can't stand his stories.
Wait, King?
Tom King.
Oh, okay. I'm like Stephen King wrote.
Yeah, no.
How did I miss this?
No.
Okay.
DC writer.
Okay, Tom King.
Yes. So we're not even going to get into that and go back to our, the Bat and the Cat episode a couple years ago from my rant.
Yes. Okay.
And then and
I remember this. Yeah.
I'm mediocre on the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. So that's that's the beginning of what he's considered an 8 to 10 year slate. So most of these are running, the 6-year period. So we'll have a few more added to the end, and we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it does.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, I do like hearing that they at least have a plan.
Yeah.
And it
Well, I
doesn't
mean, let's
seem
be
quite so
honest.
aimless.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's be completely honest that DC has been utterly rudderless
Yep.
for almost a decade.
Rudderly udderless.
Yeah, just
Absolutely.
like Nuck and Futz.
Whoa, watch it now. What do you say? Do you have anything else to get into before we get to the final
Nope.
frontier?
Nope, not really off the top of my
Okay.
head.
Well then, this last weekend I had the privilege. The privilege? It was a privilege. I mean, it was.
I had the honor and then the
I had the
privilege.
honor and privilege to take my wife to the movie theater on a Saturday night, which hasn't happened in a long time. Like we went to a dinner and then we went to a movie. It was really
nice.
First of all, great date night. We went to see Knock at the Cabin.
Oh, wait, can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Okay, I went Saturday. I went to the early show. I just didn't, I went to see Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah.
Bobby and Isabella and my mom went to go see 80 for Brady.
Yes.
I kid you not. I put this story, I think I put it in the Discord. I don't remember if I did or not.
Yes, I recall. Yeah, you did.
Before, their age demographic ruined the curve.
I know because I
in
saw
the movie
who was going
theater.
in. The place was packed and full of grannies.
Yes. Also, before the movie started, someone's hearing aid
started feeding back.
Went on and giving feedback.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really, really wish they would have had
that's really funny.
recording something at the time.
Well, that would be piracy.
That would have went viral so much.
That's pretty funny. There were a lot of elderlies there.
Yes.
When I went, and they were all 80 for Brady. I had to look up what it was. I didn't even know. But cool. And you know what? People were coming out and saying they liked it. So
they said it was funny.
Great.
I mean,
great.
Think of it like Golden Girls go to a football game.
Look, if it's fun, it's fun.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get back into Knock at the Cabin.
Yes, Knock at the Cabin. And we will be doing spoilers.
Yes.
Starting now.
All right.
The premise is that there's a family at some kind of Airbnb cabin. They've rented this cabin.
Right.
And then these four strangers come out of the woods and say, one of you has to kill another one of you, or the apocalypse will happen and the world will end.
Right.
You have to make a choice. And it's apparently based on a book. I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know that. The Cabin at the End of the World. Way better title. Yeah. Way better title. Why didn't they call it that?
Maybe it was a rights issue.
I don't know. I mean, it said it in the movie, based on. So I don't know. Directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Some pretty good actors in this. I hate to start with Rupert Grint, but Rupert Grint was in this.
Yeah.
Batista was in this.
Right.
Several other people I recognize.
Yeah.
I think the little girl was excellent.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get her name, but she was really good. I hope she can do more. I had no knowledge of what this movie was.
Right.
And so you're gonna have to talk me through this because I didn't like it. I have to admit.
Really?
I did not like it. No, I didn't. I left the theater going, what was it about though? Why? What is it? So you're gonna have to help me with this.
Okay.
And now I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, it was garbage. It was fine. It was a well-made movie. There's no it's fine. I just personally was like, I don't know what was the point. I felt not fulfilled at all at the end, and I was just like, what did we do here? So but I would love to hear if you felt differently, because I'd like
I
to
actually
understand.
liked it. I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I really thought that it was kind of in the middle of his movies. If you want to rank them.
Oh, up against the other Shyamalan movies? Yeah, I would definitely put it lower middle. Closer to the bottom.
Well, no, there's been plenty that were.
I said closer to the bottom. I didn't say at the bottom.
I would have put it right in the middle.
I haven't seen Avatar, but I know it's bad.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Happening.
Or they called it The Last Airbender, right? Whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
The Happening. Okay,
Oh.
I'm not saying The Happening is good,
Oh, it's
but I at least
probably the
understood.
worst.
But I at least understood what was going on in The Happening, and I was like, oh, environmentalism. Maybe we shouldn't screw up the planet. I get it.
Hey,
There's a
come
message
on.
here.
What's with the trees?
Yeah, well, the bees. What do you guys think the
What's
bees
with
went?
it?
Look,
Yeah.
I'm not defending that. I'm just saying, like, as far as the movie itself goes, like, I felt like he successfully communicated to me the importance of taking care of the environment.
Right.
With science, there's messages about faith
Right.
and belief and all these things, right? Sixth Sense, it's got a great twist.
Right.
There's other messages in there. Even like Unbreakable, some interesting things. It's an examination about being a hero and what does it mean and
Right.
whatever, all this stuff. What was this about? What was it about?
What I take from it, one, we obviously, Batista and Grant and the two women represented the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
I didn't think it was obvious.
Really?
I read that later.
Really?
I read that later and said, oh.
Okay, think about this though.
Okay.
Think of the aspects of the four horsemen.
I'm not saying
Death,
that it's wrong.
famine.
Right.
No, I know. Death,
get it
famine,
now.
pestilence, war.
It wasn't obvious in the film.
Right.
At all.
I thought it was. The one lady was a cook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's famine. Okay. The other lady was a nurse, pestilence, disease.
Okay.
Rupert Grint, his aggression and the things that you find out later that even though he gave a false name.
Okay. That's one thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
What I didn't understand, was that just a fake out? Or like, why they say, oh, I recognize him. That's the guy. And then it's like, it turns out, I thought they were going to get the wallet and go, oh, it's not actually him. It's someone else. And we overreacted and we thought we were being targeted, but we actually weren't. But no, it was that guy. So why was it that guy? What's the point?
What it did was still implanting doubt.
About what?
That's about what they had to do. Because at that point, Batista had already told them that they have to make a sacrifice.
Yeah. I don't get what I guess I just don't understand why that means that.
Well, because it was actually, the fact that he said, oh, this is bullshit. This is, blah, 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 blah. They were targeting us and all this kind of stuff.
Wouldn't it have been way more interesting if they got the wallet and found out, oh, this was not that guy. We were wrong.
No, because he still had doubt up to the point of committing the act of sacrifice. That's why
they found out who he was before any sacrifices were made.
No.
Before they made any sacrifices.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he's, at point, you saw a point that he was, the one that, what was it, Edward? I can't remember their names.
I will never remember which one was which.
Yeah. Anyway.
Head wound dad or
pissed off lawyer
dad.
Yeah. Pissed off lawyer dad.
Yeah.
Okay. Head wound dad.
Yeah.
He was really starting to believe.
Yes.
Thinking, what he was seeing. Now when he, the other Tybo dad.
Yes.
It'll be forever Tybo dad.
Yeah.
No, anyway, when he got the gun in the wallet, and threw it out, there was a point that, Head wound had that doubt creep back in.
Okay.
So
finding the wallet reversed it?
Reverse his notion of starting to believe in the fact that these things really were happening.
Okay. Because right. And it did do that. But I guess I don't understand the overall. So you're saying that's what the function of that is. It reverses it keeps him from fully believing yet.
Yes.
Okay. I did not find that to be obvious at all.
Yeah.
But okay, I can go with that.
Hey, I'm Catholic.
Okay. I can go
I
with
got
that.
all that stuff. That's probably, I know M. Night is actually, he grew up Catholic, so I know a lot of the same,
obvious. Yeah.
Same things. Yeah. Anyway, to some of those stories and the way they tell them, it's about even in the face of doubt, still having faith.
Mm-hmm.
I think is the main, you know.
So you think you thought that's what the message of the movie was?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't. It didn't.
And just the fact that sometimes we do have to make sacrifices for not just for ourselves, but for
for the greater good. Yeah, I understood that. Like, that I understood the oh yes, it's just I understand the basics of
right.
Would you be willing to make a sacrifice to save everyone else?
Right.
It's a simple question.
Right. But I think with that whole turning back and forth with Head Wound, I think that was still having faith in the in the presence of extreme doubt. Because he didn't change his mind until the point that basically right before Batista, committed himself.
Let me talk about something else real quick.
Okay.
The scene when they put, and we're spoiling the shit out of this.
Yeah.
The scene when they put Batista in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And they see the window has been smashed and they open the door.
Right.
And they go in to get him to make sure that he's still in there.
Yeah.
They pull off a successful reverse shower scare.
Yeah.
That actually pays off.
Yeah.
In an interesting way. Because you always see the shower scare. You rip open the curtain and no one's there. They're never there.
Right.
And then someone's behind you or someone grabs you from somewhere else. That didn't happen.
Right.
Dude is in the shower.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I was like, that rules. I was really happy to see that.
Right.
And that was just like a general movie making thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I'm so happy that they turned that around and Batista be in the shower. That was cool. I had trouble with the whole thing. I got the whole. I did pick up on when there's that part when he's standing there and the other guy's like, Ty Bodad is like, yeah, you can pray if you want. It's cool. I won't make fun of you. So they set up that Head Wound Dad has always had some kind of faith,
right,
in a higher power or something along those lines. So, I guess it wasn't clear to me that was.
Well, and I think also it kind of played with, that Ty Bodad, he always, one, with being a lawyer, two, on top of it, looked at everything on the negative side. I mean, look at the flashbacks, the reaction with his parents.
The reality they're dealing with is pretty negative.
Yeah.
I can't blame him.
I mean, no. But I mean, in all honesty, but that's the thing, that Head Wound Dad still, even in light of that, saw, the best parts of what to take out from the worst things.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I think at the end of it, I think that mentality kind of finally came to Tybo.
Yeah.
So
I think there was something about the fact that it's a M. Night Shyamalan movie, and at the beginning of the movie, they say one of you's got to kill the other one.
Yeah.
And then that happens. I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be. I thought something else was going to happen. I thought it wouldn't be that easy. Yeah. I thought it wouldn't be so simple.
You were expecting a twist, and the twist was there wasn't a twist.
The twist was, but I wouldn't call that a twist.
No, that's what I'm saying. The twist was there wasn't a twist.
Yeah, but I don't think the movie's presenting it to us that way. Like, oh, you thought, it doesn't do that. It just goes, oh, and everything we said was going to happen has happened.
Right.
How does that make you feel? Thanks for telling me a story. I guess. I don't know. Again, this was not a bad movie.
No.
And I think maybe if I were younger, or I don't know, if I was more of a spiritual person or something, maybe it would mean more to me.
Right.
But it did nothing for. I was like, why did we bother? It did nothing for me. It really didn't do anything.
Well, I think honestly, the fact that it brought a new light to like the whole trope of the apocalypse, the four horsemen?
But the thing is, like, the movie makes no, yeah, there's some clues, but the
Yeah.
movie doesn't tell you that these are the four horsemen or whatever. And also, they don't know that they are. I mean, they just know they've been chosen to do this. Like, I don't know. There's
Well,
not,
and I think he set it up that that was, that's something you had to search for and realize, even them.
but I guess, like, for me, like, that's not a
Right.
rewarding find. I was just like, oh,
Yeah. No,
okay.
I get it. I get it.
There was all these puzzle pieces, and it's like, oh, this, but it's just like, yeah, the apocalypse. It makes sense. There's four horsemen.
Yeah.
And then you told me that one of them has to kill the other one, and then they did that.
Yeah.
And then they went to a diner, and then a song played on the radio, and then it was over.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I almost think it not quite as impactful as the ending of The Mist,
Oh,
but
impactful in more than one way.
well, but I mean, yeah, but I mean, it kind of had that, you know, in a twisted way, a similarity to that.
I think The Mist is way more effective in
Oh no,
every
I'm not
department.
saying it's
In
not. I'm
every
not
single
saying it's
department.
not.
The Mist is like, look what people will do. Look how horrible they are to each other. And if they would just work together, they could get through this. But this Knock at the Cabin's like, you better believe these crazies. And the movie rewards you for believing the crazies. I felt like that was weird.
But
and
the thing
wrong.
is, were they crazy? That's just it.
They were.
No,
crazy.
I mean, everything that they were, shown to happen, what happens.
I guess, but in the real world, I would think those people are crazy.
Well, they did at the beginning until basically shit started hitting the fan.
Yes.
I mean,
I don't know. I think the more I try to break it down, the more I just go, I don't know. I just want to pull my hair out. I don't get it. So I think I can just say this wasn't my movie. I had a good time in the theater, and I've had a good time discussing it. I had a great time talking about it with my wife afterwards. I'm glad I went to see it. It's easy to recommend to people for the same reason. It's fun to talk about.
Now I would say, like, cinematography, it was
great.
really good. I think cinematography was really good. Some of the shots. Now my favorite scene was the very beginning when she was catching grasshoppers.
Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah.
What was were the grasshoppers supposed to represent them in the jar? The cabin is the jar? What the hell does it represent? Does it mean something?
No, not really. But she was a caretaker and kind of an ass that, because she even said that she wanted to do that when she got older.
Okay.
And she wanted to take care of these people. And I think that led into that whole discussion of, will you make a sacrifice to take care of others?
But she's a little kid.
She was a smart little kid.
I just thought, like, oh, okay.
But the fact that
this must mean something. There's how many? I'm like counting. I mean, how many grasshoppers were there? What colors were they? Okay, what were the genders? Did they represent the people? What's going on?
No,
none of that. No. None of that was anything.
No,
I hated it.
But I think the interaction, the interaction between Batista and him and her,
awesome, really was. Good.
I think in playing with him, being a fourth grade teacher.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I mean, you can see that he was.
Let me tell you something I really, really, really liked.
Okay.
The credits, the title credits.
Mm-hmm.
I was paying very close attention to them, and I was trying to read as much of the little text as I could, and I did see a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so I caught the fact that some of them were medical things, and some of them were school things, and some of them were all these other things, right?
Right.
And so about 20, 30 minutes into the movie, probably 30 minutes in, it clicked, and I'm like, those drawings and stuff were the visions that they were having.
Yeah.
They drew those scribbles.
Right.
That was a cool, like, that felt like Shyamalan. I was like, oh, okay, we're in for it. He's left me this little clue, and I've deciphered it, and I really had fun, like, putting these pieces together and figuring it out. And I thought, I'll go back and watch the credits again, and that'll be really cool.
Right.
That's where that stuff ends.
Yeah.
There's no other. It's everything they tell you is what it is. It's just bummer in a Shyamalan movie.
Well, and that's why I said that's the one thing and why I wouldn't rank it, any higher than like the middle of his movies is because there was no odd twist, really.
He's a victim
It
of
was
his own
pretty straight.
success once
Yeah,
again here. I think if any starting filmmaker had made this, it would be like, wow, this is really good for like this new person we don't know, like really cool.
right, right,
And I would be looking forward to whatever they made next.
right.
But knowing that it's Shyamalan, you're like, okay, thanks, I guess. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to be so negative about it.
No, no.
And I've heard there's a lot of changes from the movie to the book.
Yes.
One huge one, and I won't say the spoiler, but
no,
someone dies in the book that doesn't die in the film,
right,
and it's like, whoa, that's a major. Okay,
right.
So, and this is all stuff I found out after the movie because I didn't even know it was based on a book until I saw in the credits based on a book.
Right.
So, no, I wouldn't rate it very high. I also wouldn't tell people to not see it because I don't think it's a bad movie. It's not a bad movie.
No.
Again, it's like complete opposite of Skinamarink. It's just a movie that's not for me.
Right.
I would have a hard time saying it's bad or badly made or something. It's just what my expectations did not line up with what I received.
Well, and you went in, I've learned after going to so many Marvel movies lately, I've like gone in with no expectations of directors, no actors, nothing. When I go into a movie that I'm middle of the road on.
I went in like ready to grapple. Like, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Sixth Sense. I'm thinking Signs. I'm picking things out. I'm looking at things and I'm trying to make all these connections and I'm doing math and all these things. And it's just like, nope. Sit down. Nope. Yeah. Bummer.
And like I said, I liked it probably a little more than you did, but I'm not going to say it was great. I would recommend going to see it. I probably won't see it in the theater again, but I'll definitely watch it again because there may be something small that I missed or, but no, I once one with the colors alone and hearing their backgrounds at the very beginning when they talked about what they did, I automatically knew that's who they were or who they represented.
Right. But I guess just like, to me, the fact that it is the Four Horsemen or is implied to be doesn't mean anything. It doesn't add anything for me. I just go, okay, it's the apocalypse. That makes sense.
Right.
Where's the thing? Where's the layers? That it's just like one.
Well, I mean, there technically was, because honestly, if you remember, when they were talking at the end of it, when he was talking, one of the dads was talking about them, that they were there, their deaths were to educate them.
Yeah.
He didn't say famine, pestilence, war, death.
Yeah.
He said like generosity, and those he kind of described them in a different way.
Right.
So.
Yeah. It just didn't push my buttons the way I wanted them to.
No, and that's fine. But I mean, if you go in just like with no real expectations, not even thinking it's M. Night Shyamalan, it's beautifully shot.
It looks
great. For a really small area. Mm-hmm. There's some really good scenes in it.
Sure.
Individual scenes. Yeah. You almost get a Frankenstein's monster feel at the very beginning of it with the little girl.
And the big man. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just laughing because I remembered I won't say what it is, but Shyamalan likes to appear in his own films.
Yes. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
His cameo was really good. It was maybe his best cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that one. Yeah. So good on you.
Yeah.
On that one. So that's my review of Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah.
In theaters now.
It kind of reminded me of like the story of it, like what he was trying to say. One of his first movies is not a horror movie at all, but it's called Wide Awake.
Hmm.
It's basic, and the movie is shot in the same school that The Sixth Sense is.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's about this little kid, and his grandfather passes away. And it's like him dealing with everything going on,
Right.
and just like some certain aspects of it remind me of a lot of the story that he was trying to portray in this.
Interesting.
So
yeah, I haven't seen that one, but
and totally different than anything he's ever done.
yeah, is it a student film that he made?
No, it's
Oh.
his first real. Yeah, it's got like Rosie O'Donnell as a nun.
Oh, look, give me one ticket,
M Night
please.
M Night is a he makes a cameo. I think he's like a priest.
Oh, okay. There's a trend here,
but it's like a Catholic school.
His Catholicism is showing.
Yeah. So, but I do recommend that, especially as a parent, and with the and it's kind of because the kid and the grandpa were really close.
Yeah.
So it's like it kind of, and in the movie it jumps back and forth a little bit between the stuff he remembers and then current things going on.
Right. Okay. So, cool. Well,
but anyway,
yeah, that's all I have.
That's it. I'm exhausted.
Yes.
Between all the technical issues and everything else.
Yeah,
I'm spent.
Time for a something. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Join the Discord.
Yes.
Tell me I was wrong. Tell Chris he was wrong. Celebrate our birthdays. I'm so tired.
Not yet.
Mine's in July. Get ready. Please, join the Discord. We have a Facebook. The Discord is really the best place.
Yeah.
If you're on Facebook, leave us a comment, please. Like, subscribe. It feels gross. Do all the fun things you do.
Yep.
To a YouTube video that you like.
Yep.
And
subscribe.
Yeah.
Comment.
Join the Discord.
Yeah.
That's what we want. Get in there. And what?
Oh, I was gonna say. Now I put a question in the Discord. We didn't get to it because before we got started, it was a complete and utter shit show.
Ugh.
Fan casting.
Oh yeah.
Okay, everybody's seen this now. Who's watched, or when you listen, get in that Discord or comment on our YouTube channel. What is your fan casting for some of these parts? And we got a couple of replies. Unfortunately, Bones, you're not going to get any votes.
What?
We'd love to see you in it, but you're not going to get any votes.
Hey, I'm voting for Bones.
Yeah, he's in Elseworld. We'll throw him in Gotham by Gaslight.
There you go.
But anyway, tell us what your fan casting will be, and next episode we'll talk. We'll throw some of those out there.
Sounds good. All right, everyone. Have a good evening. Don't get Skinamarink. Whatever the hell that means.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye.